Hey guys, welcome to a new section. In this section, we'll be starting with models, database, admin and migration. Before moving forward with anything else, let us start with our admin section. So by now you have seen this admin URL many times. If I visit my admin section here, you might see it asks for a username and password. For that, we need to register as a user in our admin panel. So now user can be of different type. It can be a super user. That means a super user have all the powers regarding our application, or it can be a normal user that will have a limited power. So let us first register our super user. That means someone who can control complete application with one username and one password. Just stop your server and use a command python manage.py create super user. Now this will help us to register a new user which have all the power, that is, he is the admin of the website. Select a username and password for your project. I would be using Shubham. You can use admin, you can use your name or anything else. Then you need to provide an email address. Since you are working on a demo project, you can leave this blank. If you are working on a real project, do provide a valid email address. Once that is done, you need to provide a password. Make sure you provide a strong password since Django has their own validation. You need to have at least 8-character password with combination of numbers and alphabet. So here if I try ABCD1234, you might see an error that the password is too common. So that's how Django uses its own validation. If you want to skip this validation, just use Y. So we have successfully created our first valid user. Now let us log in, but before that let me run my server. Now let us log in and check out our admin section. My username is Shubham and then password is ABCD1234. Here you can see I currently have two fields by default because if you remember we have done certain migration at the starting of the project, that is during our first run. So if you check user, we currently have Shubham, and if I go back you can see there is a group panel. So at currently these are the two fields in our admin section. In the next lecture we will be talking about our own fields. That is, with our to-do app, we are going to register certain models, that is database fields. So we'll be doing that in the next lecture. I hope this lecture was helpful and now you can access your own admin section. In the next lecture, let us write our own database queries, that is our own model. So see you in the next one and let us get started with our models for our to-do list app. Welcome back. Now in this lecture, we will be writing models for our project. Before writing our model, we need to visualize our project in terms of database. So what type of data and how much data you need to store in the database. So for our to-do list application, we are either going to write our task and if that task is done or not. So suppose if I talk about a to-do list application for me, so my task would be to create lectures, my task would be to edit lectures, my task would be to upload lectures. So these are my three tasks. And then I have an option that it is done or not. So that can be a tick mark or that can be a term as done or not done. So we need to store that. So if it is done, we are going to say it as true. And if it is not done, we are going to say it as false. So at currently what I require in my database is two fields. The first one would be to store my task and the second one would be to store that if that task is done or not. Now I hope you are able to understand this and can visualize this. Let us write our model. So to write any model, all you have to do is initiate a class and then give a name to your model. I would be calling it as to-do list or task list. And then inside that you need to pass models.model. Once that is done, now you have to mention these two fields which we are talking about. So one is we need to store task. So all you have to do is use task and then you need to mention your models dot its data type. So I would be using car field. That is done. Now I need to mention what is the maximum length I need to accept for task. Like if we are creating a username field, we might accept 15 to 20 characters. If we are creating a password field, we might accept minimum 8 and maximum as 30. So in the same manner, we need to accept the maximum length. So it can be approx 300 to 500 character. So all you have to do is just mention max length and then the character. That's done. So that is our first field. Now the second is if the task is done or not done. So you can use the command as done. So we can use it as boolean. If done is false, that means task is not done. and if done is true, that means task is done. You need to follow the same format, models dot boolean field, and then we need to provide a default value. Why boolean fields? We are going to use true and false. Here we need to provide a default value because once we add a task, it should be not done by default. That means done is false. That's done. So we have created our first model. Now after creating your model, you have to talk about migration because this is currently only in our file. We need to do migration to get these fields in our database. So migration would be followed with two steps. First, we need to run our command make migration, and then we need to run command migrate. We will be following both the commands in the next lecture. Now in this lecture, let us talk about migration. So as I told you, we have to follow two steps. The first one is make migration and the second one is migrate. So let me run my first command and then talk about it. So all you have to do is just use the command python manage.py make migration. Now here you can see it created a .py file inside my migration folder. Let me open that one. And you can see this is the code it generated with a single command, that is make migration. So they have three fields in the database, that is the ID, task and done. So why ID? ID is used to provide a uniqueness to every field. So if I create any task, we can connect with that particular task. We can search for that particular task with the ID because ID would be unique. So I create a task, record course, I created a task, edit course, I created a task, upload course. So if I want to refer any of them, I can use its ID, which is unique and created by Django itself. And it is auto created and it is auto increment. So whenever I am going to add new task, it would automatically increase the number, and also it is primary key. That means it is unique and I can directly refer to it. The next two fields are our task and done. So instead of writing this whole code, we just write our models and run that command. The second step is we need to apply this code. The first step was used to create this file. The second step is to apply this particular code with our Django project. So all you have to run the command as python manage.py migrate. That's done. Now we have this field in our database. So let me run my server and open my Django admin panel. You can see we created our migration. We also applied all the changes, but still we don't have any change in our admin section because we need to register these fields with this particular file, that is admin.py. Now here you need to register all your models that you want to showcase on your admin section. So maybe if this model is not important, you can hide it. If you want to showcase it, you need to register here. Now you might be thinking how to register. So it is a two-step process. All you have to do is just import your model which you want to register, and the second one is add the simple registration line. So let me import my model. So from my current directory, then models, import task list. That means this is my current directory and I need to import this particular file. Or if you want to mention the specific app name, so all you have to do is from appname.models and then import task list, and that would be fine too. So let me add my code, that is admin.site.register, and then you need to pass your model name. So that would be task list. That's done. Let me check if my server is running fine and let me refresh this one. Now you can see we have a task list name here, and let me add few tasks. Later on we will be creating a front-end panel to add these tasks. So let me type my first task, that is to record lecture. And if this task is done or not, it's not done. So by default it is false, and let me save this one. Let me add our second task, edit lectures, and save this one. Now here you can see it's currently appearing as object, that is task list object. Why? Because if you remember, our model is a class and every element which we are going to register will be stored as objects. So we have a solution for that. All you have to do is define str class and then return the name that you want. So let me return task name itself. So all you have to do is use self.task. This looks fine. Since we are not editing anything from database, we don't need to run make migration and migrate again. If we are going to change anything with them, we need to run make migration again. But at currently we are not changing them, so that's fine. So all you have to do is just refresh your admin section. And you can see this is our task 1 and this is our task 2. This looks fine. The next thing I want to talk about is this data type. So there can be different data type which you want to use. So Django model has bundles of data type. So they have email, they have date and time, they have characters, that is for text, they have for numbers, they have for decimals, for floating point and all other things. What is the advantage of these data type? They have certain filters. So if I'm using a data type for email, it will have a certain filter automatically and I don't have to worry much. If I'm using a password field, I don't have to worry much regarding the minimum length, maximum length, different conditions like you need small alphabet, big alphabet, numbers, spatial symbol and all the other thing would be taken care by Django. So that is the use of data types with models in Django. So I hope by now you understand about these data types. Do check them out and it would be really useful. And I also hope by now you understand these objects. Let me edit the name and add something here. Here you can see that I am able to see the changes, and if I go back and let me change few things here. Let me also add for done. Since this is a boolean field, I need to convert it into string. If I refresh this one, you can see this is false, this is false. And if I change any one of them, this task is done. So it is true. So that's how we are going to play with our models. I hope this lecture was helpful. Now you understand about writing models, migration and also admin file. In the next lecture, let us continue playing with our models and also fetch all the data and show on our to-do list page. Thank you for following this lecture. See you in the next one. Welcome back guys. Now in this lecture, we are going to fetch all the data from our database and display as a table on our to-do list section. So the first thing I want to do is I need to add more data because currently there is only 2 objects. Let me add 2 or 3 more data. So here I have added few sample data and currently all are false except one. The next thing I want to do is I want to write a view that is function to fetch data and display here. So we will be editing 2 files. The first one will be view. So we are going to fetch all the data here and then pass with context, and then on our HTML file we are going to display that data. At currently we are displaying our welcome text. So let me start working on this. The first thing I need to do is I need to talk about how to fetch data. So whenever you want to fetch data from a model, the first thing is you need to import that model, and then the second thing is select whatever the content you want from that model and store in a variable. Let us do that. From to-do list tab.models, I need to import my task list. So that's done. Now I need to use a variable. I would be calling it as all task. And inside that I would take all the objects of this class. So all the object means I would be taking all the elements. That is all my task. So you need to use model.objects.all. Now this will help us to fetch all the data inside this. So now this is an object and this will have all the elements. Let me do one small thing. Let me remove this one, this context. Remember, this is going to be list of object, all the objects from our database. Now what I can do is I can pass this directly as my dictionary here. So all I have to do is use my key value pair. So this is my key and this would be my value. So I can use this list as my dictionary now, and this would store everything. And instead of my welcome text, let me use my dictionary here and then refresh my home page. Here you can see I got a result and it is a query set. As I told you, it is going to store all the data which we have as an object. Let me remove this h1 tag and refresh this again. So this is our query set with all our object. The next thing I want to do is I want to loop inside all the query set. That is, I want to loop inside this all objects and fetch one by one. So I would be fetch this object number 1 and get details of it. I would fetch inside this object number 2 and then get details of it. That means I need to go inside a loop. We'll be doing that in the next lecture. So for now, I hope you understand our logic. What I did is I just imported our model and then here I fetch all the content inside my all task variable, which is a list. So I passed all the content inside a key and value pair, and now this key contain all my tasks, that is my complete list. So whenever we are going to print this one, we are going to get this list. Let me stop this lecture here, and in the next lecture, let me work on a loop and fetch all the data and print it on our home page. See you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome back. Now in this lecture, we are going to loop through each of the object of our data. So we have extracted the data. Now we have a result with all the objects that we required. Now I need to go through each of them and then extract data. So for that, I just need to write a loop condition. I would be using for loop. So just remove this one. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a for loop, and with the help of for loop I'm going to select each object inside my all task. Inside this loop I can access all the details of that object. Before moving forward, let us also end this for loop and then start working inside this loop. Now what I'm going to do with object is I can access all the data which is inside that. So I'm going to select each object. For example, if I have selected the first object, I can access all the data inside this first object. So what would be the data inside that first object? It would be its ID, its task, and the value that it's done or not done. That would be true and false. So to print that, I just need to use Jinja again. And here with this object, all you need to do is what value you need to print. So let me print the task. So it would be printing task each time. Let me also add a break line and let me refresh this one. So here you can see I have all my tasks in series. Let me do one small thing. Along with task, let me also see if it's done or not done. If I refresh this one again, you can see I'm getting the value. So at currently I'm just printing them on this page without any systematic condition. So now I am able to fetch my data. All I'm doing is using a for loop, selecting each object from all my tasks, and with this object I am selecting what value I need to print. I hope this was understandable. Now what I am going to do is I am going to use table from Bootstrap. So it would be quite easy for us to make it systematic. So you can just visit this content and then table, or if you are not able to find anything on Bootstrap, just use the search option and write table. It would be quite helpful for you. Now select the design which you want. I would be perfect with this dark and light theme. Let me explain you table for a while. If you are already familiar with HTML and CSS, you can just directly go with the flow. If you are new to HTML and CSS, just spend few moments. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a table, and inside that table we are going to divide everything into rows and columns. So this would be our first row, which is not going to change. That means it would be static. Why? Because we are not going to fetch any data for this row from database. So we are going to replace this row with task name. If the task is done or not done, delete option, and something like this is a heading which is going to remain constant. The next thing will be all our tasks from our database. So we are going to fetch that with the help of loop and print inside that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table, and then I'm going to use this row and then this column for heading, and then this column would get all the data with the help of our loop. So let us do that. And don't worry, this is the task of front-end guy. You would get help if you are working in any company or if you are working as an intern or fresher. I would be recommending you just get familiar a bit with front-end. If you are a back-end guy, don't worry, you just need to do some simple task. So let us copy this data here. Let me delete this content for now and adjust with my table content. Now this is the data we have got. What I need to do is I just need to get the constant row, that is our first row outside of this. And here I want my first column as task. So that would be task name. Second would be if the task is done or not done. Third would be the edit option. So if I need to edit this task, so that would be there. And the fourth one will be delete option. This looks fine. Now we have started with a loop. So I don't need this one actually, since it would be repeated by loop. So I also need this body to be out. So it would repeat only the row part. That's fine. I hope you are not confused. Just do out the formatting. Now let me refresh this one. Yep, this looks fine. I need to give a bit space. So what actually happened at currently is we have created this row. Now here we are going to print our task, and then we are going to show if the task is done or not done. Then we will have an edit option and then delete option. But most important thing, you might be seeing this result for the 5th time because we have currently 5 tasks in our task list and we are not printing any task, we are just going through this loop. So what actually happened is we started with the first loop, printed this content, we started with the second loop, printed a new row, started with the third loop, printed a new row, and it's following on. So let me change a bit, and here instead of that, let me print out my task. So simply use your Jinja and then select the object and dot task. Let me check if this is going fine. Yep, that's fine. Let me also do this for our done and not done, and then delete and edit. Also just remove this heading option. So just remove this row and change it to TD. That would be fine. I don't want this to be highlighted. Yeah, this is fine. Now we have our task and it is showing that if the task is done or not done. And also we have a edit option as well as we have a delete option. But these are not working. We will be making them work in the further lectures. Now the next thing is, if you want to change this table anytime, just use a different class for this particular table. So you can also add this class for border. Yep, this is much better. Yeah, from now we are going to play with this. Just add a new line up here and then continue from the next lecture. Let me add a break for now. Later we will be changing with other classes. This looks fine. And in the further lectures, let us start working on all the other remaining things. Thank you for following this lecture. See you in the next one. Welcome back. Now in this lecture, we are going to do some quick tasks. The first one is we are going to check if the content is already done. So if it is a true, so we should write done instead of this true, and the row color should be changed. So we need to use a if condition. That means if the task is done, we are going to change the color of this row. And if it is not done, then we are going to use the same setting. The second thing is if the task is done, so we are going to write done, else we are going to write not done. So let us do that. It would be quite simple. We just need to add a if statement. So all you have to do is before looping through this row, we need to check if the task is done or not done. So if this object is true, that is if this done is true, what we are going to do is we are going to change this one. And then let me add a else condition. Here if the task is not done, then we are going to show something else. So let me mark as, let me see if this works. But before that, don't forget to end your if. After that, we are going to add a new class to change the color of this row. So if I refresh this one, you can see we are able to see if this is completed, this is not completed. Let me change the row color. Here if I browse to my Bootstrap, you will see I have different option. Let me try out this success. That's working fine. So the task which is completed would be shown in this green option and all the other tasks would be shown in the normal color. Let me do one more thing. Let me test this out and mark one other item as done. Yep, this is working fine. So these are the pending items. We are going to do a lot more changes. We are going to change this one also. But at currently, I hope now you are able to understand this part. Now in the next lecture, let us talk about how to add a new task. At currently, we are adding tasks and editing them from the admin panel. I want that to be added from our front end. So in the next lecture, let us start working on that.